Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to this webinar. I'm Tony Schönenberger, I'm the Executive Chairman of STARS. And as many of you know, STARS is a global platform for dialogue to discuss developments which will impact the society as a whole and our businesses in the next couple of years. In this context, I'm pleased to inform you that STARS is preparing two symposia, one in Singapore and one in Switzerland. In addition to that, we are preparing a study tour to China, to Shenzhen and Guangzhou, under the title Breaking Traditions, Learning from Global Champions, Unicorns and Startups. Please visit our website for further information. No doubt, geopolitical, geoeconomic and geotechnological intelligence is a must for any leader in business and society. So today we are continuing our webinar series on China, from Copycat China to Innovation China. And today we have the great pleasure to talk to Esther Bian. Welcome, Esther. Great to have you in this session. Thank you very much for joining.
Hello, everyone.
Esther is the managing partner of C3U Ventures, a family-oriented fund focusing on early-stage fund, corporation and technology investments registered in Singapore. Esther is also the founder of Unitime Consulting, an investment consulting firm in China and Southeast Asia. And I should also mention that Esther is a STARS alumna. Esther, so we are very much looking forward to your insights. We have
Thanks,
now
Tony.
Approximately 30 minutes to discuss with Esther. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature below to type in your questions. And I would like to encourage all of you to do it as quickly as possible because we are running out of time very quickly. Now, I have the privilege to ask the first questions. First,
please.
Once a copycat economy, now China is a center of innovation. Just look at EVs, at biotech, green tech, or DeepSeek, etc. So business leaders in the West actually acknowledge that they are the followers. Would you agree to this?
Okay, thanks, Tony. Well, I think nowadays we're happy to see the booming development of Chinese technology. Well, I do agree. China has achieved a lot in the past few years. And I think China's advantage is based on its comprehensive supply chain, thanks to the past 30 years development, and China's big enough market, probably maybe the largest mature market in the world. Well, for the past 20 or 30 years, China has tested and verified its market sophistication and capability. And now it has turned from manufacturing oriented to industry automation driving economy. I guess that's why China now is doing really good in EV, green tech, robotics, and other sectors. And I'm very positive that we will see more innovations to grow and develop in the market.
In the context of today's geopolitical and geoeconomic tensions, and particularly including the tariff policies, how do you see the impact on innovation in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think that's the challenging that China's economy and China's company are facing with right now. But I think everything has its positive and negative aspects. For example, like the geopolitical tensions between China and other and the West, it will increase the increased trade barrier will definitely put pressure on Chinese companies to accelerate its technology self resilience. For example, I guess for the past 5 years, China's chip industry actually developed a lot because we cannot rely on others' supply, but with no choice but to develop on its own. But at the same time, the reduced access to other markets like the US may limit China companies' ability to fund its future innovation. So basically, like I think for China's government, they should think on its own how to get more foreign funding other than the US market. But it's also give us like a more window opening to establish the partnership and cooperation with other markets like EU, Southeast Asia, and China already is doing with other, the Belt and Silk Road countries. So I think everything has two sides. It's challenging, opportunity. But overall, I still feel positive about the current situation.
In the US and Europe, innovation traditionally works through, first of all, research at universities, then patents, and then possibly venture capital. Chinese innovation seems to be applied. You already mentioned that, market-driven, much faster, and above all, benefits from a powerhouse in engineering and supply chain efficiency. Is this the major reason for the success of Chinese innovation?
So I think because of the large enough market, China's innovation is more market-driven. That's we already see what the market has created opportunity for the EV development and robotic development. That's because the huge market always presents the involving challenge for the innovator to solve the problem and to meet the demand from the huge populations, the customers' needs, and to balance the customers' growing need and to reduce the energy consumption. So I think that's a challenge, but again, the opportunity for China's innovators, and everything based on the huge market. And one point to add is that I think in the middle, China's big tech corporate do a lot of jobs. For example, like the big tech companies like Huawei or Tencent, they are nurturing the talent development, like incubate those tech talents, and which is playing critical role to drive the innovation growing in China. So we will see like the market is like the foundation, and the consumer need is like the driving, like the initiative for the innovators to develop innovation, and also the different players, the big corporates who are already succeed in the past 20 years, but they are continually to providing resources for the next generation tech talents.
Great. Yes, there's already a question from the audience.
Yeah.
Esther, do you think that the West has continued to wrongly attribute China's success in tech, EVs, AI to perceptions of state subsidies, copying infringements of IP, as opposed to real innovation?
Well, firstly, I will describe what the market is look like right now in China. So I guess for the past 10 years, it's still we combine like the supply chain and thanks to Tesla to China, they gave us like the good technology and the different manufacturers to further develop the technology and into different leading EV brand right now in China. But now, maybe from now on to the next 10 years, it's the commercialization stage. So basically, it will be super competitive for this EV to compete with each other in domestic China and also in the overseas market. So if we're talking about, the IP and other the protections, industry protection issues, people may accuse that, some China companies, they steal the technology from the others and then develop on its own. But I think as long as they are doing good commercialization and they make sure that their product apply to the safety standard of the industry, and if they go to the overseas, they are applied to the, for example, if they go to the EU market, they need to apply to the high European industrial standard. If that is, they meet this standard, we cannot accuse them further. And for the next 10 years, I would say maybe we will see there will be, because right now there will be multiple EV brands in China. But like for the past 20 years, we have like so many different e-commerce platform in China, but finally maybe Alibaba win because they consider most about the consumer need, and they also meet the international standards. So that's the reason that they win the market. And it's the same for EV. In the future, there will be maybe less than 5 EV brand finally survive the market because they serve the best, they provide the best service to the customers, and also they're doing good to follow the international standard. So everything is about they're doing their good job.
And what about, the perceptions, particularly in the West, regarding state subsidies?
So EV is kind of like the pillar industry from the government point of view, and the government, the state level government and also the local level government, they provide like lots of fundings to that, but it's not continually. They cannot be continually doing that. So everything needs to meet the challenge from the market. So that's why that I just mentioned, like the final winner will be someone who can win the consumers and who can create the good cycle, like their product meet the need of the consumers, and consumers buy their product is like the healthy cycle rather than rely on the funding from states or governments.
Great, yes. Could you please elaborate a little bit more on what is actually right now happening in the tech landscape in China?
A good question. So I think if we talk about the China's development, innovation, or everything, we cannot avoid talking supply chain. So in China, we have a word, we call it like supply chain as a service. Basically, that what China have been doing for the past 20 years. So just to empower China's global supply chain system. So I think China right now is by using its advantage in supply chain to empower other companies, no matter it's a company in China or for foreign companies to do the global business, especially during the COVID and after the COVID. What Taimu, Temu, it's Pinduoduo's platform, overseas platform, and TikTok e-commerce, what they're trying to do to fully use the supply chain advantage and global logistic network to enable those companies to do the business overseas. So basically, I think that's what China's company has connect with overseas market, and that's how China has affect the global business landscape as well.
Now, could you perhaps turn to your profession, so to say? What is the role of venture capital, private equity in fostering innovation in China?
Well, thanks to VC and PE, like this concept came to China probably 20 years ago, and bring the foreign capitals to China. And then we have this booming e-commerce development. But now I would say that China's VC and PE industry is doing a very deep reformation because the geopolitical tensions and regions. So probably maybe almost all the global VC brand in China has divided their global brand into the US one and China one, and also separate their investment team. Just try to avoid those geopolitical risks. So I guess in future, maybe in the near future, for the VC in China, we should develop the local brand and maybe focus on some vertical sectors. And then in that way, they can do a better job as a local navigator. I always call like the VC should be like a navigator, so that can facilitate the foreign capital and with the China's breakthrough innovation, and also to connect their portfolio companies in China to connect with that foreign resources in other market like European to help their product technology to go further to other markets. And more than that, so to further develop deeper partnership connections with the foreign investors. For example, like maybe establish the CVC or to like co-investment platform. So the foreign investors may have more so they can observe what is really happening in China, rather than we tell them what is happening in China. So they can have a quicker decision. Oh, this is what we should invest. This is not. So everyone, I mean, the local investment team and the other foreign investors, we can do the decision together quickly to cope with the more quicker development economy in China in the next maybe 10 years. So that's what I see, what I think.
Great, yes. Esther, many predict that this year, 2025, will be a milestone year for the robotics industry. Comparable maybe to iPhone's debut for smartphones, with the mass production of humanoid robots. Can China repeat its EV success in humanoid robots?
Okay, so well, this year is definitely a special year for the robotic industry. So maybe our audience may hear from the new, the online news that this year, even for the Chinese customers, we are paying larger attention to the robotic industry. And so there's a company called Unitree. Their robotic do a very great show on the National Spring Festival Gala. That's a very important show for the Chinese. That's why we kind of know, oh, the humanoid robotic is actually in our life. But I think it's hard to see, this humanoid robot will repeat the EV success in China. One, because it also took very long for EV to develop from the very beginning till today. But I would see that for the humanoid robotic, if this industry want to achieve more, basically it will depend on, will this the production cost can be heavily reduced. We know that for EV industry, a company called CATL, probably we know that company that company's innovation reduce the EV battery cost heavily, which means make EV more available to the public. So if we can see that case happen on the humanoid robotic, that will be, of course, good for the industry. And secondly is how commercialization of the humanoid robotic can achieve in the future. People right now, we are always have the concern over, is it safe for this robotic to do more job for human beings? For example, like in the especially in those service industry, for example, like the elderly care, or even for the early, the children's education, etc. And that part we need to for the industry to put some like industrial standard to make it more standardized. So basically, I think that's 2K aspect for this industry.
Great. There are two more questions from the audience. First, Chris Gizzi is asking, could you kindly elaborate on the legal framework in respect of foreign investments? Is it solid and reliable as the West understands it?
So, okay, thanks for the question. I think previously, basically, the foreign investment model in China is based on the USD currency. So it's all based on the USD currency, and the companies, the portfolio the investee companies legal entity is also overseas. And the exit approach, one is M&A. So either like this company acquired by another overseas entity company, or it's the IPO in the US or UK. So then the investors can get the capital back. So I guess right now the tension also comes from the tighter control over the IPO, the Chinese company's IPO in the US. Hong Kong is no problem, but I think for most of the company, they prefer to go IPO in the US. So that's a challenging part. But we have other approach for the foreign investors to invest in China company. So either like so in Hainan and also in Shenzhen, we're doing like the trial, like for the change of the currency, like the USD change to RMB, so we can directly invest in a China, a mainland China structured company. So that's also another trial. So basically, that's the current situation of the foreign investment into China market. But the good thing is, I mean, apart from the IPO in the US, Chinese companies are also trying other stock markets, like the London stock market or other European stock markets. And as far as I know, the Hong Kong stock market is trying very hard to make it more available to foreign investors, so the Hong Kong IPO can be more valuable than previously. So basically, that's the current situation.
Thank you. There is a question from David Urbach. You speak about collaborative models. Is there a real chance for joint progress between East and West, or will we see a bipolar competition? But then the particular question is, what could be the role of Europe in this context?
Well, Europe play an even more critical role right now, I think. So firstly, let's share some examples. So I guess for the European investors or other foreign investors, China's big market is so attractive, and China market is developing more and more. So I guess it's early this year, I say more European consumer brand, they are doing the co-investment with Chinese VC. So they can directly participate in the domestic market in China. So the good thing is, one thing is they can get more knowledge idea from China, and their European product can sell directly to China. And other thing is they can always figure out what will be the next for the China market. So basically that's example that what we can do. And for Europeans, because you know the US tensions, so the European market is like more important for China's innovation technology to go overseas. And I think China companies will more cherish this opportunity. So for example, for the EV brand, if the European market can accept it to their market, which means they are having more opportunities to finish more globalization. So I see, you know, for the next 10 years, more opportunity between China and Europe, and START is playing critical role for that.
Great. We have two final questions, if you permit. There is another question from the audience. I just read it. How do you assess the role of open source platforms in fostering technological innovation? At the same time, do you see a risk that the lack of access to critical external technologies, such as advanced semiconductor chips, coupled with a stringent regulatory framework in the digital space, could potentially limit the capacity for such innovation?
Semiconductor. Oh, well, the open source platform, well, for example, the recent DeepSeek, which is like purely open source platform. And thanks to DeepSeek, right now, I guess almost all the big tech company platform connected to DeepSeek. So which means based on that, all the technology systems in China, we are co-building the AI together. So like Baidu, Tencent, everything do their own job, and DeepSeek put the foundation. I would see the innovators in China right now, we are more open-minded to share the technology, like what Tesla is, did to China market 10 years ago. So which is good and healthy for the innovation systems in China. And for the semiconductors, I think domestically in China, we are okay because to some extent, Huawei's technology is also open sourced. And if we talk about between China and the US, like several months ago, the Jason Huang visit China, and he see that he's open to collaborate with China. I would see for some non-sensitive sectors, especially like retail AI, I do see some opportunities for China and US, we collaborate. But for some sensitives or more large scale collaboration, it will be very challenging for the next few years, and China need to prepare for that.
Thank you very much, Esther. We could go on for many more hours to discuss important issues with you, but time is up, unfortunately. We have to come to an end. First, I want to thank you very much for your brilliant insights. Thank you very much. We are facing disruptions all over, obviously. Even disruptors get disrupted. So we learned a lot about China, about innovation in China. And I believe your message is also quite clear. Expect the unexpected in the next few years to come. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, Tony.
And I'm particularly looking forward to seeing you in Shenzhen in a couple of weeks from now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
The next webinar in this series is on 13th of June. The speaker will be Virginia Chung from Shenzhen University. I hope to see you then. Goodbye for now and have a lovely weekend. Thank you.